still remember that, Pastor LaBarre. And my wife, what year was that? I think it was on the mid-80s. 85, 1995.
85.
Yeah, we were baptized. Yeah, my wife, Rev, she's not my wife that then, and that's me, and Pastor LaBarre. Yeah, like what I said, we were product of a missionary to the Philippines, and I'm so excited today for him to visit us today, and he had a lot of stories to tell us. In fact, he just came to the Philippines and arrived just 2 weeks ago. And without much further ado, I want to invite Pastor LaBarre to come. Your stories, the floor is yours, okay? Love you.
Well, I wasn't really expecting this. Pastor Danny didn't tell me anything. But it's just a joy to be here with you today. And thank God for what He's doing all over the world, He's moving everywhere, you might say. And like I told Pastor Danny, I said, I don't even like going to church here in America, really. And that might sound terrible, but I don't, because it's not like it is in the Philippines. I mean, the people there, they're excited, they're thrilled about coming to church and being in the house of God. And I was in one church down in Palawan, and we had a prayer meeting from 9 o'clock at night till midnight, and the place was so packed with people, they had to ask the young men to please come and sit on the floor, come sit on the platform, because we don't have enough room to accommodate all the people. And when you talk about a prayer meeting in America, you know what? Nobody wants to show up. But if you say, we're going to have food, everybody shows up.
That's true.
But I see more people at the prayer meeting that Friday night than I ever have seen at a prayer meeting in my entire life. Of course, the pastor, he has a congregation of about 3,000 to 4,000 people. And you think, that's a pretty good sized church on the island of Palawan.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so I got to go see the underground river there, and it's beautiful just seeing that. And that's what's attracting so many tourists to even Palawan. But going back a little further, well, my wife and I, we were actually the directors of Chi Alpha Student Center in Manila. And we were mainly working with all college students. And as the college students got older, they started getting married. And they said, well, Pastor, we need to have a church. We don't need to be in a student center. And so I said, okay. And so I talked to my pastor here in America, which he was pastoring Church on the Rock, which was Larry Lee. And he said, well, you start a church for them there, and we'll agree to give you the money for 1 year for the rent. And so that was a pretty good deal, I thought. And so we found this building. You weren't there with us, Rez, I think. Were you there when we first started cleaning up that old building on Quezon Boulevard there?
Yeah, I just at that time just got into it.
Yeah, it was a mess. Grease, everything all over the floors, the walls and all. But everybody came in and pitched in, and we cleaned it up, and we started having services in the building there. And so we started a church, and all of the people, they started getting married, like Danny and Rez got married eventually. Even I know a lot of you don't know him, but his name is Pastor Ancho Buenaventura. And his wife, some people thought she was probably crazy because she had a very good job, and she came to me and my wife and she said, the Lord's told me to come and work for you. And who wants to quit a good job and come and be a maid? And I said, Luke, you sure God told you to do that? And she says, yes. I know that's what God told me to do. And I said, well, Luke, the only way my wife and I will ever allow you to come and work for us is if your father brings you here and says it's okay. So one night, there was a knock at the door. And there stood Luke and her whole family, not just her father, but her whole family, and said, Pastor, I'm putting my daughter into your hands to take care of her. And I said, well, we'll be glad to take care of her. And she really became like a daughter to us. And then she fell in love with Ancho, so we lost our daughter.
Who's Ancho?
And so I told him that story when I was in plowing there. And I'm just giving you little details. And and Danny probably knows it, but I was very much a disciplinarian individual. And even Pastor Ancho, he got married, and he come to church late the next morning. He had just got married Saturday evening, but he came to church late Sunday morning. And I said, well, Ancho, you know, you're late this morning. He said, well, I have an excuse. I just got married. I said, well, with God, there is no such thing as excuses. So your discipline for the next month is you've got to be at every service an hour ahead of time. And so he tells the people in plowing that all the time, and he said, now you get to see the person that has did that to me. But yet the thing is, that's one thing that most people don't want in their lives today is discipline. But in reality, now Ancho could have said to me, I'm not going to accept that. I don't want nothing to do with it, and he wouldn't have showed up. But let me tell you one thing, he wouldn't be where he's at today either. Because when we're willing to accept discipline from the leader over us, you know what? God honors that, and he makes us what he wants us to be.
Amen.
And that's why he has a church of over 3,000 people now, and he travels all over the world. He has a church in England, he has a church in Quiapo, he's got a church in California, and I don't know where all else he has churches.
Put your hands together, be blessed on today. Blessed assurance.